Hello friends, welcome to the NR classes. So I hope you have enjoyed last class. So some of you let me know what you have learned in last class. You have attended last class, right? Anyone? Yeah, just tell me whatever you have learned in last class.
About breadboard, about breadboard,
You can stand up, it's okay.
about breadboard, multimeter, DPDT switches, and voltage regulator.
So basically you have learned about electronic stuff, right? So in robotics, to apply electronic stuff, we need an program, and Arduino is such a program. Basically, Arduino is a platform, and it is hardware and software at the same time. It's available in hardware version and software version at the same time. So, before learning about Arduino, we have to be aware about some keywords like microcontroller and microprocessor. I hope most of you are aware about microprocessor, right? Anyone? What is microprocessor? And maybe CPU. You must be aware about this. Maybe you have learned that it is the brain of computer. You may have listened this line. So basically, most of the better to say all the operations, computing, mathematical, and logical operations, all of them are performed by microprocessor. It is just brain to the computer. So these are some applications of microprocessor. Microprocessor basically is used in each and every electronic device that is using computer in some or another fashion. For example, it is used in your mobile phones, laptops. Whenever you are going to purchase a laptop, you are just worried about your microprocessor, whether CPU is performed well or not. So there is another device similar to microprocessor, is microcontroller. So you may consider that it's a device on a small scale. It just uses IC chips for its functioning, and in IC chips we have a combination of and not gate. Maybe you have learned about this in JMNs and advanced. So microcontroller is just a combination of basic gates, and so it can be used to perform basic robotic operations. So हमको सबको सस्ता ही चाहिए होता है obviously. So microcontroller comparatively सस्ता होता है. The basic reason behind this, it's using only basic things. So whenever you are considering which device I should use in my robot, so microprocessor can't be replaced by microcontroller because microprocessor has complex operations, and those complex operations can't be performed by microcontroller. And if you are trying to replace microcontroller by microprocessor, for example, in a device, I need to use microcontroller, but I am using microprocessor, then cost reaches so high that it is not advisable to use microprocessor in the place of microcontroller. So I want you guys to guess that whether Arduino is a microprocessor or microcontroller. Yeah, it's partially correct actually. Actually, Arduino is a circuit. It is having microcontroller as its brain. For example, our computer uses microprocessor as a brain. So our Arduino hardware uses microcontroller as its brain, and it also constitutes various other things as well, like our computer constitute, for example, display and all those stuffs. We'll learn about it in details. So basically, this is the definition of Arduino. That Arduino is a circuit board with microcontroller. So basically, this is the Arduino. This one is microcontroller, okay. And after microcontroller, we are having various things here. Like this is LED. This LED blinks up whenever our Arduino is in on condition. We are having some analog pins, some digital pins, and we are having this one is DC jack USB port. We are going to learn about each and everything in detail. Yeah, one thing I want to tell you that Arduino platform is absolutely free. You can use it, and at the same time you can contribute in the Arduino board. So whatever is free, it just people start a way of earning from free sources. Maybe you have listened about open source. Have anyone open source platform? I'm just telling you. For example, Microsoft developed Windows platform. So only Microsoft can use Windows platform. If I want to use, for example, a HP company want to use Windows platform, then they have to have an agreement with Microsoft that I am using your operating system in my laptop, and for that they have to pay to the Microsoft. But in the case of Arduino, it is an open source, so anyone can use this. So whenever it comes to free, we start cloning. Have you anyone heard about cloning?
Yes, sir.
In class 10 biology?
Yes.
About Dolly, a sheep which was cloned by crossbreeding. Yeah. That comes to here as well. This time when you came from home, maybe you have seen at railway stations that they have cloned our Bisleri water in multiple forms. Bisleri, just to confuse us, and in this way they used to earn the money by using brand name. Similar cloning happens in Arduino as well. Since it's a free source, anyone can use it. So let's see cloning of Arduino. You can see various shapes, right? It is circular shape, it's in long rectangle, it's similar to square. But basic shape of Arduino is this one. This one is from I'm just trying to use the pen. So this is basic Arduino. The basic design of Arduino is this one. Okay, and all these designs are just clone version of that. They have just replaced some. For example, they are having digital pins here. They are having digital pin here. Just slight variation, and so since there is slight variation in design, so also in implementation we can see slight variation. But it is preferred for beginner to use basic version, and that is Arduino Rev 3. Okay, so after listening about Arduino, most of you are confusing. Okay, I want to learn how to get started with this. So here I am going to tell you about this as well. So let's move ahead. Oh, Ranjit Bhaiya is saying that आसान है क्या? So don't worry, Ranjit Bhaiya के लिए दीपिका को बुलाना आसान होगा या नहीं होगा, but हमारे लिए Arduino पढ़ना आसान है. So हम पढ़ेंगे. So obviously let's go. Ranjit Bhaiya का reference पढ़ाते हैं. So basically Arduino consists of 3 parts. First one is hardware. I have already told you about hardware part of Arduino. This one is hardware. Okay. Next comes our ID. Is there anyone aware about ID? Full form at least.
Integrated development.
Yeah, right. Integrated development environment. So basically, ID is used to write the code and upload that code on platform so that we can get desired output. I'll explain about ID in next slides as well. So just know that much right here. Then most awaited part of historical code. Most exciting part if you are tech enthusiast. So basically Arduino can be controlled by blocks as well. By using blocks we can give command that you perform a particular operation. For example, let me give an example of block. For example, you want to check a particular number, for example A, whether it's divisible by 2 or not. So Arduino provides us facility that you attach the blocks here. So Arduino provides us facility that you just attach to blocks when to perform which operation. But since we are interested in coding, so we try to do so by code. If someone don't wanna code, then he can also be in robotics and can use blocks for performing operations in Arduino. So what basically Arduino does? There are some input devices, and by using those input devices, we want desired output operation. For example, I am recording my audio, and in future I would like to access it. So input microphone is taking my audio, and it will process according to the instructions and provide output accordingly in whatever manner I want to access it. So Arduino does the same thing. It just uses input sensors, take information from input sensors, and processes the information on the behalf of our desire whatever code we provide, and provide us desired output. For example, I want to blink these LEDs in particular pattern. For example, first I would like to blink yellow LED, after that red, after that green. So I can code Arduino in a fashion so that it takes input voltage and blinks LED in that particular pattern. It's a basic example. We can use for various purposes as well, but it's basic one. So now I would like to introduce you to the Arduino IDE. At that time I told about IDE, but here I am going to tell you about Arduino IDE. So before Arduino IDE, what is IDE? IDE is just a combination of text editor and compiler. Maybe I am having a slide for this. Yeah, it's just a combination of text editor and compiler. For example, to write an HTML file, you can use Notepad as well. Anyone use Notepad to write HTML file? Yes, but we can use VS Code as well. So what extra functionalities VS Code provides over Notepad? Yeah, that's all facilities. And I'm not sure, but I think we can use C++ code as well with any text editor. But for that, we have to link a compiler with text editor. So right now I'm not aware about the procedure how to link our Notepad with compiler, but there must be a procedure because it's basic. So basically, basic IDE contains a Notepad and compiler, and it contains various functionality also. For example, if I have anyone done Python, yeah, in Python indentation is too important. So what IDE does, it just auto indent. That's a special feature of our IDE, and in this manner IDE helps us in coding. So what does compiler do? Is there anyone? Yeah.
Compiling high level language to compile the high level language.
Yeah, right. Is there anyone who think that compiler is a hardware? You just seen it previous slide. Let me show. It is shown like this. So compiler basically is not a hardware. Okay, it's just a program which converts our coding language into machine language. Because machine can only understand zeros and ones. So whatever information we want to provide to the machine, it must be in the form of zeros and ones. So basically, this is the functionality of compiler. are some procedures before submitting the code to compiler. For example, you have written code classes in last year, right? So if we complete our paper, let's say 30 minutes ago, we never submit, right? We just keep checking whether I am having some mistakes or not to get maximum marks. So same thing happens with the compiler. Before submitting code to the compiler, we want to be sure that there is no syntax error or any logical error in our program. Logical error mostly can't be detected by compiler. For that, IDE provides a feature debugging. By debugging, we can detect some basic logical errors. And debugging also tells us about syntax error. Each and everyone is aware about syntax error. We have syntaxes in grammar set. Yeah. For any language, we need syntax. So basically, syntax is particular rules in which we may proceed in particular language. This is just analyzing our code copy before submitting. So, enough theory. Let's know what Arduino code. I've already told these are basic components of Arduino code. This is brain and this is pin. There are various pins, and we are going to learn about each and every one in detail. So let's start with the first one. So one thing I want to tell you that I have not provided text with my PPT. So please listen carefully and write whatever you want. Because if I'll provide content with my PPT, you will not focus in the class. That's a pattern I have done last year. Professors used to teach on PPT and we are just listening music and all that and not focused on the class because we think that our room we can read on PPT. So listen carefully and I am telling something important, then please do write. Because in exams, whenever S.O.A.R test will be conducted, you have to answer. And you will be having special benefits over others, those who have not attended the class. So be careful and write whatever I am doing. So let's look at digital pins. So from pin number 0 to 13, and these are digital pins. They are used to take digital input and digital output. Okay. You can connect any pin to take digital input and digital output. For example, you can connect LED here. I'll show you how to connect LED and all that. Right now, just know these are digital pins. Okay. So let's come to the feature 2, and this is pin 30 LED. So basically, this is a built-in LED in our Arduino board. Let me use. So there is a built-in LED. For example, we want to perform a particular operation, for example, a basic program, and we are not having particular component. At that time, we can use this LED. For any operation we want to perform, we can use this LED. Basically, this LED is connected to pin number 13. Internally, it's connected like this. Internally, positive terminal of it. And for grounding, there is no requirement because there is a basic grounding here. Whenever we supply power, we just do basic grounding in ground terminal, and all pins are grounded. For example, we want to write an LED. What we need to do? Connect the positive terminal to positive terminal of battery and connect negative terminal to ground. So in Arduino, what we do? All grounding is done by default. So we just need to be aware of positive terminal. So here comes our power LED. This LED just tells us whether our Arduino is in on condition or not. It's functioning or not. For example, we have provided DC supply to Arduino. So if this LED blinks on, this means our Arduino is on condition. So this is the brain of our Arduino. 8 mega 328 microcontroller. So what internally happens? These pins are connected to these prongs are connected to all the pins in various fashions. Okay, in various fashions they are connected, and internally it is having ICs. For example, this pin is connected here, and this pin is connected here, or maybe this pin is connected here. And internally we are having AND or NOT gate and IC chips. By the help of them performs its operation. For example, we need high voltage. For example, we need high voltage pin number 5 and we need low voltage pin number 3. So two prongs are connected, one to pin number 5 and then one to pin number 3. So it will instruct these pins to have high voltage and low voltage at particular time. So here comes our analog pin. These pins are used to take input of analog sensor. So someone please tell me what is the difference between digital signal and analog signal? Is there anyone aware about it? So I am just telling you. Digital signal is like this. For example, it is one. Okay, on graph. So digital signal can be discrete only. One like this. Digital signal is discrete. Its voltage variation either can be high or low. It can't be in continuous fashion. Okay, just be aware of this because it may be asked in exam. What is the basic difference between digital signal and analog signal? When it comes to analog signal is like this in a continuous fashion. So continuous fashion we can say that, for example, we want to turn our fan on or off. So for that, either we need high voltage or low voltage. When it comes to our speaker, we want to increase our volume. So we want to increase in volume. For that, we are converting our energy to sound energy. Okay. So for that, we need continuous variation of power. For example, I want to listen. I am just increasing the volume. Volume doesn't increase in a step. It can be increased in continuous fashion. So at that time we need analog signals. So for that, analog pins are used. These are these are pins by which we can attach various components to our Arduino and can get desired output. For example, we can connect some sensors here, LED here. One thing you should keep in mind that we can draw a low current from here. For example, if you want to use motor, you want to attach a motor with your Arduino, you want to make a robot, for example, Tesla cars. For that, we directly can't use this Arduino board to run the motor. You have learned about motor driver, right, in previous classes? Okay, it's okay. Motor driver basically is a device which helps to run our motor by enhancement of current, by providing extra support. So next comes to the power connector. So this is DC side. For example, we want to power our Arduino because for functioning it needs energy. Each and everyone needs energy. It's so simple. So it is a DC side to provide power. For example, if I want to charge my laptop, I have to insert some power source. That's the simple. So basically this we use to power our Arduino. And once we power our Arduino, power button will turn on. And by this way, we will be able to get that our Arduino is in power mode. So let's move to the next slide. Do you think we are missing something? Yeah. You are attentive, right? If someone is attentive, must notice. So basically, I just forgot to that. Basically, these are RX and TX LEDs. Digital TX RX. So whenever Arduino is receiving a signal, RX LED blinks, and whenever Arduino is transmitting a signal, TX LED blink. So if a continuous transmission and receiving of signal is taking place, then both the LEDs will blink. Most of the time there is a continuous transmission. Okay. So let's move. So basically this is reset button. For example, we have uploaded some code on Arduino and we just want to reset that code. For that, to erase, for example, we want to erase that code and write another one. So for that, we can use reset button, and it's just like refreshing or recompiling. Whenever we run our code on VS Code, maybe some of you have done. So whenever we need to write once again G++ filename.cpp to recompile. So a similar thing happens here also. If we wanna refresh our code, we can reset our code by this reset button and also by this reset pin. I'm just only for reset pin. Yeah. If we press this button, it will reset the code. If you apply low voltage at reset pin or press the button. If we apply low voltage here, then also it will reset the code. Just keep in mind. These are some Arduino specifications. So whenever we go to the market to buy a mobile phone, we just look for specifications. For example, you are worried about camera. Camera to hi-fi होना चाहिए भाई. And you are worried about per se battery, CPU, storage. Like this, Arduino is also having some specifications. For example, you may consider microcontroller as brain of Arduino. In case of mobile phones, it is CPU. In case of laptops, we are worried whether it's AMD processor or Intel processor. Similar to this, they have used 8 microcontroller in case of Arduino Raspberry. Various other microcontrollers are also used on depending on our operations. Basically, operating voltage for Arduino is 5 volt. We try to apply voltage from 5 to 12 volt basically. Most of the time, if we apply 7 volt, then it comes close to 5 volt because there is always a loss due to resistance. So recommended input voltage is 7 to 12 volt. They provide us limit to we can apply voltage up to 20 volts, but it is not recommended because ultimately it will harm our circuit, and due to heating, circuit may destroy. Next comes to digital input output pins. I have already told you that there are 14 pins and can be used for digital input and output. Analog pins. So someone please tell me. In analog pins, you may have seen numbers like A5. So tell me what those numbers. From where it starts.
Zero to.
Yeah, from 0. Basically, in coding, most of the time indexing it starts from 0. So just to follow that trend, they have started 0. There is a DC current pin also. For example, we are specific about our current that we want to current in this range itself. Then we use this power. Then we use 3.3 volt pin for powering our Arduino. There is a flash memory of 32 KB only, in which 0.5 KB used by bootloader. Is there anyone who is aware about bootloader? Yes. Yeah. Just tell me. Yeah, right. You may have seen in laptops that, for example, we turn on our laptop, it's in dead position. Still, time never changes. Why? Some programs used to keep running in background, and whenever sometimes we update our system. Okay, So at that time, rebooting of system takes place to replace our operating system. So here comes the role of bootloader. There must be a particular memory storing operating system for performance of device. Here comes the role of bootloader. Just load. For example, in Windows 11, we need at least 4 GB memory to use Windows 11, if I am correct. So that's the function of bootloader. For our Arduino, we just need 0.5 KB. And Arduino flash memory is just having 32 KB memory. Maybe you will be thinking that our single image is of 20 MB and Arduino is just having 32 KB. How it will go when to manage that much of code? So just be aware that even 20 to 25% of this flash memory can contain 2000 lines of code. And most of the time we just write 200, 300, 400 lines of code in our Arduino. So it can handle easily. Then it comes to our EEPROM, electrically erasable and programmable read-only memory. S.O.A.R is static RAM. It's similar to RAM, but for example, you will learn in C++ static keyword that just don't changes the variable in whole program. It is having similar functionality of static, and RAM refers to random access memory. For random access, we mean to say, for example, you are coding or writing on a Microsoft Word. If you don't save the program, by now feature comes that auto save like this. If you don't save the for example, you are working on PC, not on laptop. Suddenly light goes. So whatever you are doing, you are just going to lose that data. But that data must be on a particular memory. So that is RAM. It is volatile. Once you power off, whatever data is written on RAM, it just wipes out. So that's RAM. And just be aware of EEPROM. Clock speed is 16 megahertz. 1 megahertz is 1 million cycles per second. So I would like to tell you about cycle. What is cycle actually? Have you ever cut your data from mobile phone, for example, photos and videos, and pasted that in laptops? Ever? Yes. So basically, what happens? We provided some input here. Okay, and it is our device. Okay, and it is our output operation. For example, we provided instruction by input pin that just cut this data from a mobile phone. Okay, and mobile phone and laptop together starts functioning about cutting the data. And once whole data is transferred to the laptop, a signal is given to the mobile phone that I have received whole data. Now you can erase the data from mobile phone. If you copy, then data will not be erased from mobile phone and it will be copied in the laptop at the center. But if we cut the data, for example, about images and videos, so after complete transmission of data is erased from mobile phone. Sometimes what happens, for example, I have connected my mobile phone, I have just cut the data from my mobile phone and started copying in my laptop. So for example, I want to transfer 100 images. 20 images are transferred. After that, I have plugged out. So let me know what will happen in that case. What? Nothing will be pasted in laptop. No. Transfer 20. Yeah. 20 images will be pasted in laptop, but they will not be erased from mobile phone. That's the importance of cycle. 20 images will be erased from mobile phone, but they will no. 20 images will be pasted in laptop, but they will not be erased from mobile phones until a feedback is provided that I have received all the images. That's the functioning of cycle. Such cycles takes place in every computer operation and in microcontroller as well. So, if you wanna purchase Arduino for learning robotics for basic learners, Arduino Rev 3 is preferred. I have already told about various specifications of Arduino Rev 3. So, you may consider these text for your reference. So, enough theory. Let's move to the practicals. Here we prepare our computer to use Arduino. right now I have not got physical device, so I'll tell how to connect physical device and we'll show practicals